G'day guys, welcome back. I'm going to do a video on how to mix my pouring medium and how to mix my paints for a cloud pour, for the cloud effect. So I won't be pouring the painting in this video. This is just for me to show you how I mix everything because everyone's been asking. Okay, now hopefully you can see the scale here. I've just got it set to grams. So the first thing we need is some Floetrol. I don't sieve my Floetrol. I've found that if it's stored in a really hot area, that it will go lumpy. So I'm going to pop 100 grams of pouring medium, or of Floetrol, there we go, 100 into my little jug there, and then I'm going to zero that, and then 100 grams of Liquitex pouring medium. I don't have the bottle because I bought it in this huge bucket, and yeah, I don't have it anymore, so I've just put it into here. It's easy to use. So equal amounts, 100, and I weigh everything so that next time I want to create the same effect, I know that by doing exactly the same measurements, I'll get the same result. And that's why I do it. So 100 grams of that, and then 100 grams of just plain water. This is just tap water. In there, 100. It's 80. Just go slowly. 97, there we go, 101. It doesn't matter if you're a couple of grams over or under, it doesn't matter. So equal amounts of Floetrol, Liquitex pouring medium, and water. Give that a big stir around. I make up a big batch of this, so I would actually put it into, say, an old milk bottle. Maybe it's a 2-litre milk bottle, or a 2-litre old glue bottle, and I'll mix it all in there. Might have a kilo of Floetrol, a kilo of pouring medium, and a kilo of water, and I'll put it all into the big jug, and I'll just give it a big shake up, and that'll be my pouring medium. Okay, so that can sit there. That's all done. Now the next thing we're going to do is mix our pouring medium with our paint. So that goes on there, and that goes to 0. And what I'm going to do is, because I'm using these Liquitex Basics, when I do my cloud effect, I do 3 parts of this pouring medium to 1 part of the Liquitex Basics. So in here, and make sure your scale's on 0, you're going to put 60 grams. Sorry if this is, if you don't understand, if you're in the States, 60 grams is 2 ounces. Just whatever I'm saying, divide it by 30. So there we go, 60 grams. And then I'm going to add some phthalo blue. And because I want it 3 to 1, I want 20 grams of paint, but I'm adding my Decoart satin enamel. So I still need 20 grams, but of these 2. So I'm going to do 16 grams and 4 grams. So 16 grams of Liquitex Basics to 4 grams of my satin enamel. That's 20 grams. That's still 1/3 of what we've got in here, 60. So zero that. Hope you're all following along. So that's 16 grams of paint. That's 12, 14, 15. Now if you've got 17, it doesn't matter, don't worry too much about it. So that's the 17 of the blue. Now I'm just going to zero that, and I just want 4 grams. It's not going to be very much. It's quite thin and runny, this Decoart paint. And you don't want too much of it because it's going to change the colour too much. That's 3 grams. It's gone up to 5 really quickly, so don't worry about that if it's gone up to 5. Now you're going to have to stir, 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 stir. Some of the Liquitex Basics paints will mix really easily, and some of them will be a little bit lumpy. What you can also do, and is probably a good idea, is to add the pouring medium slowly. Put your paint in and then add your pouring medium, stir it a little bit so it gets into a paste, stir it again. See, it's quite lumpy, so I'll just let that sit. I'll come back to it. It's just going to need a lot of stirring, but I'll show you how you can make it up a little bit better the other way. So we'll zero that again. And different color, this is light blue permanent. So again, I want 16 grams of this. And then we want 4 grams of the satin enamel. It's gone to 17, that's okay. Get another stick, zero your scale. And we'll go to 4 grams. That's 3. It's jumped up to 5 pretty quickly. That's okay. Right, so that's that in there. Now, we're going to add, do you remember? 60 grams, but I'm not going to put it all in at once. I'm just going to put in, we'll do 10. Give that a good stir. It just stops the paint from going too lumpy. If you've got a type of paint that gets very lumpy, then this is probably a good thing for you to do. Just add your pouring medium in slowly. See, that's kind of like a nice paste now, but it's nice and smooth. It's not lumpy. Okay, so we'll put that back on there. So we were up to 10. So now we're going to take that up to 60. It's 56, 58, 60. Woohoo! Okay, so now it should be a lot easier to mix in. We shouldn't get any lumps because we've made that paste into the paint into a bit of a paste first with the pouring medium, so that should work really well. That's the consistency there. There's no mound. So that's the light blue done. The other blue, I want to make a dark blue as well for my background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that same blue again, but I'm going to add a little bit of black to it. So again, and I'm not going to put any of the satin enamel in it because I just want it to be a plain dark blue black background. So I want 20 grams of paint in all because I'm not going to use any of this. So I'm going to put in, maybe I'll do 18 and then just add 2 grams of black. So I don't want too much black. That's 18, that's of the phthalo blue. And I've just got the Mars black. So there's not much left in here. Let's see if I can get 2 grams out. That'll do. Hopefully that'll give me a nice dark colour. So I'm going to zero that. And again, I'm going to need 60 grams of this pouring medium, but I'm going to just add 10 to begin with. And stir that in because this blue goes really lumpy. And then we can check the colour as well. Looks like a nice dark blue. This is going to be my background colour. I will do the pour afterwards so that you can see how all these colours and pouring medium work together in a cloud pour. So look at that. It's nice and smooth and it's a lovely navy colour. So now we have to add the other, do you remember? 50 grams of pouring medium. If you don't want to watch all this, feel free to just fast forward It's 45, 49, there we go, 50 grams. So that's our 60 grams of pouring medium to 20 grams of paint, which is 3 to 1. You guys are all following along, yay! Hope you're all understanding. At least it's on video, hey, you can replay it if you've missed something. Or if you don't quite understand something, you can go back and watch the video again. But it's pretty simple, it's just a 3 to 1 ratio of pouring medium to Liquitex Basics. If you're using a much thinner paint, like maybe a golden paint, then you wouldn't do 3 to 1. You might have to do, 2 to 1 because golden's a much thinner paint. So there we go. That's our blue, and then that's our lovely navy. So that's those ones done. Now the next one, and again, feel free to fast forward, I'm going to throw in some of this bright aqua green. So again, 15 grams, because this one's going to have the satin enamel in it, so 15 grams, or 16 actually to be exact. 16 and 4 is 20, and that'll give us our 20 grams of paint. Zero it, I always like to zero it again. Much thinner this paint, see how it's running in? 3, here we go, that's 4. Wipe off your stick so you don't get any more in. And now we'll add 10 grams of pouring medium. Make sure your scale's zeroed all the time. Otherwise you might get something wrong. And pouring is actually quite scientific. You've heard me say it before, I measure everything, I weigh everything so that I can recreate the same results. If you're just winging it and saying, oh yeah, that looks about right, and it works, how are you going to create that again? Unless you've got it all written down and the amounts that you've used, it's really hard to recreate it. So now we need another 50. Hopefully I've made enough pouring medium. I don't know if I've made enough pouring medium. Got another 2 colours to go. I have to make up a little bit more actually. It's only made 300 grams. It's easy enough to make more. Actually, I won't take up your time making some more. I've got some here that I prepared earlier. It's in my jug. I'll just fill up my little jug here with this one. You would have seen this one on the videos. 1 part Floetrol, 1 part Liquitex pouring medium, 1 part water. I'll just pop a little bit more in there. So I've got that to use for my next 2 colours. My next colour is a metallic copper. So I pop that on there, zero it again. And I'm going to add the white to this one as well. So again, 16 grams. One more, there we go. 16 grams of that. And 4 grams of the white. I'll take it to 20 grams. And you go, there we go, it's gone to 20 grams. Give that a stir. Zero. Put 10 grams in first. And mix that up. The metallics can be quite tricky as well, like they'll go really lumpy, so make sure you do this definitely with the metallics. Scrape around the sides, scrape the bottom. Get the paint off your stir stick as well. Wow, it's really changed the colour having the white in there. I probably didn't need to put the white in there, but I'm just doing it to all of them. And another 50. There we go. So this is a really good way of not getting lumps in your paints. If you guys are struggling with the Liquitex Basics, you saw me mix up that first one in the blue, and I did it the other way around with the pouring medium first. And the paint just doesn't want to combine. It's like when you make gravy. You guys make gravy and you use the corn flour or the grey vox. You don't just throw all the water in at once, do you? You add a little bit at a time into the powder so it makes a paste. Otherwise you end up with lumpy gravy, don't you? There we go. And then the last one is the white. I'm just going to use the Artist's Loft. My previous painting of the cloud that I did earlier, oh, I did it this morning, but you would have seen it maybe yesterday. And I'm going to add more of this because I want more white. I'm going to do 30 grams of paint to 30 grams of pouring medium. So I'm going to do 25 of the white and then 5 of the satin enamel, just so that I've got a little bit more white to make the clouds. Okay, so that's that, and now I'm going to put in 5 of the satin, so that should take me up to 30-ish. Okay, all right, I can put the lid on that. Got this from Amazon. Now this paint is a lot thinner than the Liquitex Basics, so actually I probably won't need so much. I think I'll just stick to the 60 and do 2 to 1 because yeah, it's a lot thinner. I was forgetting about that. So I'm still going to just add the 10 to begin with. Let's give that a stir. So no silicone added when you're doing the cloud effect. It's just the paint, the densities of the paint, the reactions of the paint. Of course, the Floetrol helps. If you're using Floetrol, it's naturally going to give you cells. So that was 10, and I'm just going to add another 50 to take it up to 60. $42, $43, $47, $48, $49, $50, and that's pretty much all my pouring medium gonskis. Now, if I think this is going to look, if I think this is going to be a little bit too thin, I might have to add a little bit more paint. As I said, this Flow acrylic, the Artist's Loft, it is much thinner. Oh, it's splashing out at me. It's much thinner than the Liquitex Basics is. It's looking a lot thinner actually. Just by the little, it's tiny little thin stream that's coming off the stick. Whereas if I look at one of these, the stream is a little bit thicker. I'm going to take you up for a close-up so you can see the consistency of this. I think that feels okay actually. So this is 2 to 1, 2 parts pouring medium with 1 part Artist's Loft. And the Liquitex Basics are 3 to 1. I'll just climb up onto my ladder so I can show you. See, that's not leaving a trace at all. When you do a ribbon on top, oh, my hand's in the way. It's not leaving any ribbon on top. Just go straight in. So that's it. Okay, so I will put all this aside. I need to give my blue another good stir because this was the lumpy one. It will come good. Sometimes it just needs to sit there for a few minutes in the naughty corner and think about what it's done, that it's bad behaviour and not wanting to combine and be friends with the pouring medium. A little time out should do the trick. It's nice and smooth again now, but it is much easier just making a paste first and going for that. Alright, so that's all done. My pouring medium's made, my paints are made up, and I'll be back and we'll do a pour with these babies. See you soon.